Hi guys, good afternoon and welcome to Money Control. I'm Karunya Rao and we're doing a very special discussion today to tell you all about moving abroad, settling abroad. What are the protocols in place? What are the different options that Indians have in terms of destinations, in terms of kind of residency or permit to move, invest or even work abroad? Joining me today is a very special guest. His name is Paresh Karia. He is an immigration consultant. He's been working in this space for very long. Paresh, thank you so much for joining us today. And guys, before we start the conversation, I want to flag it off to you all once again. Whatever questions you have, please post it on the YouTube feed or on the Twitter comment section, and we will have your questions addressed by Paresh over the next 30 minutes. Thank you so much, Paresh. Before we begin and address some of our viewer questions, I want to ask you, what is the most commonly asked question you get? Because when it comes to moving abroad, it's a whole Pandora's box. There are so many nuances, so many details that one needs to do. So how do you get started?
Yeah. Thanks, Karunya, for inviting me to the show. And immigration is a much talked about subject, we all know. And, especially of late, the number of people who are looking at migrating outside India has been increasing. We have been getting a lot of inquiries right from, Punjab to Kerala and from Gujarat to Kolkata, all across the country. There are a lot of aspirants who are looking at migrating outside India. And the most common question that we have been asked, that people are asking us, which is the easiest place to move. People want to know how easily they can move to a particular country, because the rules, as we know, are quite complex. They keep on changing and people want to move quickly and easily. So this is one of the most common questions that is being asked by people right now.
Okay. All right. Typically, when somebody says that I want to relocate abroad, what are my options? Do I have to, is there a way that I can directly become a citizen? Do I need some kind of a residency program where I get PR, which, is the case for a lot of countries that we hear about? So what are my choices really?
Yeah. So we are talking about, two things. There, permanent residency and citizenship. These are two different options. Permanent residence and citizenship, these are the options available for people who want to permanently migrate over there, move to a foreign country with the intention of staying there permanently and not wanting to come back, right? So in most cases, countries offer you permanent residency first. If you want to take up a citizenship, then that comes at a much later stage. Now, how do you get permanent residency? So broadly, in order to get a permanent residency, there are four different ways of getting a permanent residency. First thing is the commonly method that we have seen in India is students. When you go to study abroad, you move to a foreign country. Let's say you move to US, UK, Canada, Australia, so on and so forth as a student. After completing your studies, if you are fortunate enough, you can get a job over there and you get a visa to continue staying over there. So this was a route which was traditionally being followed by a lot of students. And even now we see students moving over there, completing their studies, taking up a job. Once you have a job, you have a right, you have a work permit, and eventually the work permit will get converted into permanent residency. This was a common route. The second route which we were seeing is, you directly go for a work permit. If you possess certain skills, if you have certain kind of skills, you have certain education qualification, if you are good at English, then you can migrate to all those English-speaking countries like, let's say, Canada, UK, Australia, where there is a dearth of talent. They are looking at talent-based migration. So if you are lucky and you have all those skills and talents which those countries are looking for, you could apply for permanent residency over there. And if you are able to get a job, you move there on a job. After getting your work permit, you get your permanent residency, and then you move on to citizenship. The other way of getting a permanent residency directly, even without having to, study or work in the particular country, is permanent residency through investment. And this is a category of permanent residency which is getting very popular of late, especially among the HNIs. I'm sure you would have read reports in the newspaper some time back. So many number of HNIs, some 7,000 HNIs from India migrated overseas. So more and more rich people are now looking at migrating overseas, and they don't want to, go through the study route or obviously the job route. They have the money, they invest the money, and all you need to do is invest the money and you get permanent residency. So this is one category of permanent residency which is getting very popular. And surprisingly, even countries, you have countries like the US which offer you this route. So it's so easy to migrate to US if you have money. You just invest. They have the EB-5 program whereby you invest about 800,000 US dollars and the entire family gets a green card. UK had a similar program earlier, but they've just discontinued it. You have Portugal, you have Turkey, and so many other countries which offer this kind of a program. So these are all the paths which can lead you to permanent residency, which is the first step. And when it comes to citizenship, usually after taking up a permanent residency, if you continue to live in a particular country for a certain number of years, then you can graduate towards getting a citizenship of that country. However, having said that, there are some other routes also, particularly routes via investment, whereby you invest in a particular country and directly get citizenship. For example, we have Malta. In case of Malta, if you are going to invest a substantial amount over there or make a substantial contribution to the government by way of, donation, then you can directly take up a citizenship of that country. And these are the programs which are popularly known as citizenship by investment. Of course, Malta is one of the European countries which offer this program. Apart from this, we have a lot of other smaller countries in the Caribbean, where you invest a small amount and you get a passport or citizenship directly of that country.
But is it that simple? If I have money, I can get a citizenship of any of these countries that I want, which you just named? Is it that simple? Or how long does it take? Do I have to hire a consultant? Can I do it online? What are the various ways?
Yeah. So when it comes to permanent residency by investment, different countries have different rules. So it may not necessarily be very easy. Yes. If we are talking about something like, let's say, a US EB-5, the program requires you to invest about 800,000 plus there are other costs. But the program is not very easy. There is a lot of documentation required. Particularly, you have to prove to them the source of funds. How have you received the money for the purpose of investments? And that is where you need to do a detailed financial statement. You need to show various bank statements, the evidence of how you have earned the money. It's like doing an audit of your bank account. So that's where somebody, and somebody with an accounting and financial experience will come into play. You have to work very closely with the US attorney. It always helps to have a consultant, because apart from doing this financial analysis of your bank statement to prove how you have got the money, the next step is you need to analyze where are you going to invest the money, because the money is going into some kind of a fund. You usually have a kind of a fund structure where you invest the money in the fund, and the fund in turn will invest in some kind of a project which is going to create jobs. So certainly you need somebody with financial consultant with a background in banking and finance who can help you navigate this path. Similarly, when it comes to, let's say, when we are talking about the golden visa programs, which are offered by European countries like Portugal, Greece, Spain, etc. So here the documentation requirement is not very stringent, because but still you need somebody to help you to select the right investment vehicle, because like we said, that all these programs offer you permanent residency through investment, and it is very important for you to select the right investment vehicle which not only qualifies for the permanent residency but also ensures that the investment that you have made is safe and you get return on your investment. So it is very important to get somebody involved along with you. Apart from that, like we know in India, we do not have full account convertibility. There are restrictions on how you are going to send the money outside India. So you have to comply with the LRS rules. Apart from LRS, you also need to make disclosures in your income tax return, right? Then there are certain documents which need to get certified from here. You need a police clearance certificate. You need documents to be certified by the embassy or approved agency or Ministry of External Affairs in India. So definitely to do all this work, you need somebody in India to help you with this entire process when it comes to permanent residency by investment. And same applies for citizenship by investment. Now, citizenship by investment, the due diligence process is much stricter when it comes to countries like Malta. But when it comes to Caribbean countries, it's not that strict.
Which is the most attractive destination? Any study or any sort of statistics that you have?
Right. I think this is a very important question. I'm glad you took it up because again, this is one of the most often asked questions to ask as to which is the best country to migrate. Well, there is no perfect answer for that. It all depends upon your objective and your circumstances. It all depends upon what you are looking at. What is your immigration goals? So before we embark on this journey of immigration, it is very important for us to understand what is our objective. Why are we looking at migrating to a particular country? Let's say most of the people who come to us are looking at, the high net worth individuals I'm talking about are looking at a good future for their children. They want to provide good education to their children and a good lifestyle after education to their children. So from this point of view, I think if you're looking at education, English-speaking country is the best option for Indians. And when it comes to education, I think US is one of the best options, followed by Canada, and then you have UK. Right? There are people who are coming to us who want to migrate for the purpose of job. They want to take up employment overseas, or they just want to, they are young graduates and they just want to start their career overseas. So for people like them, I think Canada is a good option. Canada has an express entry program whereby qualified people, typically people who are under 30 years of age, they have a good education, they have very good skills in English language, and they have work experience with a good corporate, then it is very easy for them. Even without a job, they can migrate to Canada through the express entry system, provided they meet the points requirement. For such category of people, it is very easy to move to Canada. Then again, we have people who are coming to us who want to expand their business overseas. So when you are migrating for the purpose of business overseas, you have to look at what is the economy, what are the options available. So from a business point of view, I think US makes a perfect sense because it is the biggest economy in the world. And yes, we have seen so many Indians migrating to US, working hard over there, and achieving great success. So it is a true capitalist country, and if you are in for a business, if you are ready to work hard and you have entrepreneurial skills, then there is no place better than US at this point of time.
The next question is from Akbar. He is asking, what are the top 3 countries for citizenship by investment programs, and what are the costs that they entail? Any top 3 destinations you want to recommend?
So there are, when it comes to citizenship by investment, where we are directly, there is a difference between residency, permanent residency, and citizenship, like we discussed earlier. So if you are looking at directly getting a citizenship of a passport of the country without having to take up the PR first, then the options are very limited. Like I mentioned earlier, among the well-known countries, it is Malta, which has been offering this kind of a program, citizenship program, and the investment is substantial. You need to make a donation of 600,000 euros. This is not investment. This is purely donation. So minimum 600,000 euros. That means almost 5 crores you have to give away as donation. And then you have to meet a lot of other compliance conditions. And the process will take 1.5 to 2 years, thereafter which you may be selected and your application will be gone through at the highest level in the government to be approved. Right? The easiest way to get citizenship, if you want citizenship directly, then the easiest way is the Caribbean countries. But the Caribbean countries, like you have Antigua, you have Grenada, you have St. Lucia, etc. These are all the Caribbean countries which offer citizenship. You have to invest about $100,000 to $200,000, not investment, but donation, and you can get a passport of that country. But obviously, I don't think people are looking at going and living in that country. There, the objective is different. There, the objective is that you want to have convenience of traveling. But we need to keep in mind when we are talking about citizenship of other country is that if you're going to take up a citizenship of other country, you will have to give up Indian citizenship. India as a country does not allow dual citizenship. So if you're considering a citizenship of taking up a citizenship of other country, you have to be very clear what is your objective and whether you really want to take it up. I think if your objective is to move other country and live there permanently, permanent residency makes more sense because you have much better options. You have countries like US, Canada, UK, Australia, etc. They all offer permanent residency, and the pathway is much easier than citizenship.
Any closing comments for you? I mean, when it comes to making a checklist or starting your process or your journey of migrating abroad, how should one plan it well? How much time does it typically take? What should I be prepared for? Any advice you want to offer?
Well, I think it makes sense to plan well in advance and start early. We have seen that we have been getting a lot of clients who have been coming to us, and they have been, debating, and we have had clients who have been thinking about this process for well over 4 years now, and they've still not taken action. And I think you need to decide quickly and act upon it, because day by day, the process of immigration, especially getting permanent residency in other countries, is getting difficult. There is more and more demand, and more restrictions are coming in. Like we know that we are moving towards globalization to nationalization. So there is a lot of opposition from the local countries also. So my suggestion would always be that, you decide fast, act quickly. Otherwise, you will keep on getting into this mode. Now, let me give you an example, for instance, in case of US EB5, the EB5 program, people who had applied early, this program has been going on for quite some time. So those people who applied earlier, let's say in 2012, 2013, 2014, 15, etc., were able to invest only 500,000 and also get their green card or permanent residency within a year. As the time progressed, like we moved further in 2019, when the investment amount was going up, people were still investing 500,000. But the time period, even those who have applied in 2019, it's 3 years now, they have still not received the green card. And right now, the situation is today, the investment amount has moved up from 500,000 to 800,000 plus. And the waiting period is still 3 years and more. So the other disadvantages, if you delay it, your children, typically in this, when you are looking at family migration, you can cover your entire immediate family, your children up to a particular age. So most of the time, people plan their immigration journey when the children are studying in high school, that is at the age of 17 or 18. And when they complete the process and get the immigration, most of the programs allow you to have your children who are up to the age of 18 or 21 or 22. So if you start the process late, your children will cross that age, and there you may not be able to include them in your permanent residency application. So you can lose out on that as well. So it always makes sense that you should start your immigration journey. Typically, if you're looking at your children's future, then do it when they're about 13, 14 years old, because as we know, this entire process could take about 2 to 3 years, and your child has to be typically below 18 years of age in order to qualify in most of the programs.
Right. Okay, so if you have made up your mind, the sooner you do it, the better it is. That's the word coming in from Paresh. Great to have you on board, and you've answered so many questions that our viewers had for you as well. I'm sure they have more clarity about their plan and what they want to do next. So thank you so much once again for joining in. And guys, thank you so much for this great response for the show and sending us your queries. We'll be back soon, hopefully again for a fresh round of discussions on that. But for now, this is all from us. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you. Thank you, Karunya. Thank you.